It's KP's Video News, yo.
That's right, it's KP's Video News, folks. And, there's been a lot of people that have been putting their 2 cents in and chiming in on the murders that happened in, attempted murder. And we actually did have a person that got shot and killed down in Lafayette, Trayford Pellerin down in Lafayette, Louisiana. And we also had Jacob Blake, justice for Jacob Blake, trying to get justice for Jacob Blake that was shot in the back. That's in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was shot in the back while his 3 kids were in the car, just inches away from being shot themselves. The cops shot him in the back while he was attempting to get in his car there. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on. However, this particular case right here has to deal with a ex-Boston Police Union president charged, this is what I'm saying, ex-Boston Police Union president charged with years-long sexual abuse of the young relatives. And former police union president Patrick Rose allegedly repeatedly sexually assaulted and abused a child relative over the span of 5 years. And Patrick Rose, a former president of the Boston Patrolmen's Association, was held in a $100,000 cash bail this last Thursday over allegations he repeatedly sexually assaulted and raped a young relative starting when she was 7 years old. Rose, 66 years old, hid his face during his arraignment in West Roxbury District Court after he was arrested on child sex charges Wednesday in Needham. The retired Boston police officer is facing 5 charges of indecent assault and battery on a child under 14. He also faces 1 charge each of aggravated rape, enticement of a minor, open and gross lewdness, and dissemination of matter harmful to the minor. The victim, now 14 years old, says the assaults continued for 5 years until she turned 12 years old. Rose allegedly touched her inappropriately and asked her to perform sex acts on him in his Roxbury home. Assistant District Attorney Mark alleged in court Thursday that Rose abused the victim on multiple occasions between 2012 and 2018 when the child was between the ages of 7 and 12. The victim disclosed the abuse to a relative earlier this month who reported the assaults. There is no greater betrayal and breach of trust and morality than sexual violence against a child, as District Attorney Rachel Rollins said in a statement. That the individual accused of these despicable crimes is an adult family member of the victim of a former member of law enforcement who swore an oath to protect victims from harm is unconscionable. She continued, while this man was molesting and harming an innocent child, he was standing in judgment of others as a sworn member of law enforcement. He has dishonored the badge of the Boston Police Department, and I intend to hold him accountable. Rollins says she is so proud of the survivor in this case for finding the strength and courage to come forward. Prosecutors had requested the bail be set in the amount of $250,000 in light of evidence that Rose was attempted to evade arrest. Rollins said prosecutors could not request that Rose be held on dangerousness because the offenses he is charged with are ineligible under Massachusetts law, and Judge Kathleen Coffey ordered Rose to wear a GPS monitor, surrender his passport, surrender any firearms, as well as his license to carry, have no unsupervised contact with any child under the age of 16, and stay away from and have no contact with the victim. Rose, who is being represented, is due back in court on September 10th. A representative from the Police Patrolmen's Association president didn't have a statement in response to the arrest, noting Rose was retired and no longer associated with the organization. Boston police didn't have a comment when they were reached out to. And Boston Mayor Marty Walsh said in a statement he was deeply disturbed by these horrific allegations, which must be investigated to the fullest extent of the law, and state police detectives assigned to the DA's office, not the Boston Police Department, are conducting the investigation because of Rose's history with the department. The Suffolk County District Attorney's Office said they are looking for other victims. And in relation to that story, the ex-police union faces additional child abuse charges. And the former head of the Boston's largest police union, charged earlier this month with sexually abusing a child, now faces additional charges after 4 more alleged victims stepped forward, prosecutors said today. Patrick Rose, 66 years old, a retired officer and a one-time president of the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association, pleaded not guilty at a remote arraignment Tuesday to the new charges, which included statutory rape and indecent assault and battery on a child. And the judge increased his bail to $270,000 from $150,000. The new charges pertain to alleged abuse against 2 children that date all the way back to the 1990s. 2 others of the new alleged victims are still children, prosecutor Audrey March said. The new charges stem in part from an email Rose sent to a family after his arrest, in which he refers to himself as a monster, describing it as a confession. Rose's attorney said there is no reference in the email to any alleged crimes. The statute of limitations may have a bearing on some of the new accusations, and I'm not entirely clear of all these cases are going to be viable going forward. So, if it wasn't bad enough that he already had charges, now you got some more charges charged against him. And telling you now, man, it's one of those times, man. You know, we hear about it all the time. They're talking about, you know, people hiding behind the badge. Here, this guy hid behind the badge while he was allegedly sexually abusing little girls. And matter of fact, one of them was his own family member. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then as a fact, another fact check here that's going along those same guidelines with something, you know, a little bit more sinister, and that's over 8,000 U.S. trafficking arrests since 2017 that have not included members of Congress. And the claim, there have been 3,138 human trafficking arrests, including 38 members of Congress in the United States. The post on Instagram claims that since Trump issued his first executive order on human trafficking, there have been over 3,000 arrests in the United States alone. That includes 38 members of Congress, 23 Democrats, and 15 Republicans. And in a reply, the account user credited for the information to the newest episode of Deplorable Nation. The podcast host repeated the same statistics about total arrests and members of Congress, but offered no substantiation. The users behind the post did not respond to a request for comment today, and the podcast could not be reached for comment. But over 8,000 arrests by FBI and ICE for human trafficking since 2017. And though it's difficult to account for the totality of human trafficking arrests across law enforcement agencies, some data from the Bureau of Investigation and Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security Investigations is reported to Congress on an annual basis, and the human trafficking arrests reported by the FBI and ICE in the latest years actually outstripped the number in the rival post. In 2017, the FBI initiated 782 human trafficking investigations and arrested 2,693 suspects. In 2018, they had 667 cases and arrested 479 suspects, and ICE arrested 1,588 criminals arrests in 2018, And in 2019, the complete list isn't out, but ICE has reported that it arrested 2,197 criminals associated with human trafficking. And that totals at least 8,559 arrests related to human trafficking, assuming no overlap, and charged that inaccurately claim human trafficking arrests dramatically increased. And it's like, it's amazing, man, how this stuff goes on. And there have, there have been, now according to this, it says there have been no reports of Congress arrested for human trafficking, and records allegations of misconduct against members of Congress, and it reports just 16 allegations recorded and related to sexual harassment and abuse, 10 allegations of other crimes, which were related to trafficking by members of Congress between 2010 and 2020, none so far in 2000 and 2020. Yep. But based on the claim that there have been 3,138 human trafficking arrests, and so I'm telling you, man, it's crazy stuff going on out there. These guys, they're doing a bunch of crazy things, seriously crazy things out there in the street, and you just gotta watch them. Just gotta keep your eyes open, folks. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes on the distorted pride.
What time is it? Say it's time for KP's Video News. KP's Video News.
Peace.